They thought she was powerless. They thought she was just another name on a report. They thought the badge on their chest made them untouchable. They were wrong. This is not just a story about an arrest. It's about assumptions, authority, and what happens when people confuse power with immunity. Watch till the end and comment where you are watching from. It started on an ordinary afternoon. No cameras. No crowd. No warning. A black woman pulled into a quiet area after being followed by a patrol car. She did everything right. Turned off the engine. Hands visible. Calm voice. She asked one simple question. "Officer, what seems to be the problem?" That question offended them. Not because it was disrespectful, but because it challenged their sense of dominance. They weren't looking for cooperation. They were looking for submission. One officer told her to step out of the vehicle. She complied. Another officer grabbed her arm harder than necessary. She asked why. That's when the tone changed. Her calm was interpreted as defiance. Her intelligence was seen as arrogance. Her confidence became a threat. And the moment they felt threatened, they escalated. They pushed her against the car, twisted her arm, forced her to the ground. Bystanders later said she never screamed, never fought back, never lost control. She simply said, "You're making a mistake." They laughed, because people in power often laugh right before the fall. One officer said the words that sealed their fate. "You think you're special?" She answered quietly, "No, I just know the law." That angered them even more, because authority hates knowledge it cannot intimidate. They handcuffed her tightly, too tightly, ignored her complaints of pain, ignored procedure, ignored restraint, and then they made the biggest mistake of all. They searched her. Inside her jacket was a badge. Not local, not state, federal. The moment froze. The air changed. One officer went silent. Another stepped back. Another whispered, "Wait." She looked up from the pavement and said calmly, "I'm FBI, and this interaction is being documented." No shouting, no threats, just truth. Power doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself when challenged. The officers panicked. One uncuffed her immediately. Another started apologizing fast. Too fast. They offered water. They offered excuses. They offered lies. But it was too late, because power doesn't care about apologies after exposure. She stood up slowly, adjusted her jacket, and said the words that haunt systems built on abuse. "Get your supervisor. Now." What happened next didn't make headlines immediately. That's important, because real consequences don't arrive with sirens. They arrive quietly, internally, officially, irreversibly. Bodycam footage was reviewed. Dispatch logs were pulled. Procedures were compared. And a pattern emerged. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't confusion. This was behavior. The same officers had multiple complaints. Mostly dismissed. Mostly ignored. Because the victims before her didn't have a federal badge. They had silence. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. Oppression doesn't always wear a different face. Sometimes it wears the same skin but serves the same system. This story isn't about black officers versus a black woman. It's about what happens when authority forgets accountability. It's about people who believe the badge protects them from consequence, until they meet someone the system actually listens to. Internal investigations followed. Suspensions were issued. One officer resigned quietly. Another was reassigned. Another is still under review. Not because she demanded revenge, but because she demanded standards. She later released a short statement. "I didn't want special treatment. I wanted lawful treatment." That sentence is heavier than any protest chant.